I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of green in all its forms. Get it? And for fellow lovers of, well, green, the Club Random merch store has you covered. Grinders, papers, and Zippo lighters, all designed to support your relationship with green, wink, wink, whatever, and whatever philosophy comes with that for you. Head to clubrandom.com and bring home some random. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. And yes, I know, another website ad. Well, stay with me on this one. This one actually makes sense. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for anyone who has an idea, a side hustle, a passion project, or a career that deserves to look professional online. You can claim your domain, build a beautiful site, offer services, get paid, send emails, everything in one place. Use code CLUBRANDOM to get 10% off your first website or domain. Squarespace, make something worth looking at. Well, it's a new year with big goals, same problem. No one has time to shop, chop, or cook. That's why Factor works. Factor sends you fully prepared meals. Head to factormeals.com/random50off and use code random50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. He's just too pretty.
What are you saying about me?
Well, you're fine. You're a nice-looking guy.
Down the middle.
No, but I'm actually not.
Yeah.
Because
you just caught me at a low intelligence point. I was like, oh, that was a joke.
Joel, you here?
I'm here.
Oh, none of that Australian accent here. At least you can do is speak American.
Oh my God.
When you're in our country.
Oh my God.
I'm going to call ICE on you.
No. I was watching your thing about Australians. And I'm like, oh, come on. You're right, though. I was just skiing in Japan, and I didn't actually feel like I was in Niseko. I didn't feel like I was in Niseko. There were Australians everywhere working in the hotel, all the ski instructors, New Zealanders or Australians.
I met a bunch of them last night. I was out at a Golden Globe party.
Oh, yeah.
And, boy, they like me in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that whole bit was that was 10 years ago. It was when Trump was first talking about immigration. And, we did this as the, classic mode of satire. I went off on a rant how it's really the Australians who are coming at it. But there is that little bit of truth in it, is that they have done so well with acting jobs. The best line was, "We used to think oceans could protect us, but there are too many Hemsworths and not enough sharks."
Yeah. Oh, man. And then follow the Barrier Reef. I mean, it's, what's interesting is that everyone tells me, they're like, oh, what is it about Australians and acting? And
yeah, what is it?
Well, I don't, one of the things is accents. Australians doing an American accent.
I asked Chris Hemsworth about that. He said it's because we all watch the TV.
That's exactly what it is.
You watch American TV when you're a kid, and it's just second.
Yeah.
You don't even have to try that hard, right?
There was this policy in Australia which actually inadvertently helped all of us, which was there was no real barrier for how much local content there needed to be. There was no mandate how much local content there had to be on TV. So I would wake up in the morning.
Like Canada has that.
They do?
Yes.
France has it at the cinema.
Definitely Canada. There used to be a great show, SCTV, Second City TV, that was done in Canada. Martin Short was on it.
Yeah.
A lot of great people were on it.
Yeah.
Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
And they used to make fun of, because there was the law was that the Canadian law was a certain amount of content has to be about Canada.
Yeah.
So they were spoofing that with they did these Canadian brothers with their A. It was all just...
We had, like, Skippy. Do you ever see Skippy, the bush kangaroo?
No. What? No.
Well, so obviously we were
cartoon?
inundated with American TV, but you never really got much of Australian TV.
Was that a cartoon or a what?
No, it was about this kid and his dad flew a chopper and...
Oh, this is Flipper. with a kangaroo.
It's
We had
Flipper with
show
a kangaroo. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's exactly that.
Yeah, they probably saw Flipper.
And
went,
Skippy the bush kangaroo was actually also a bit like Lassie, as in if any of the kids were in trouble in the bush, Skippy would come back and literally be like, and the guy would be like, "What's that, Skip?" And he'd be like, "What? The kids are in trouble."
Yeah.
The guy could understand
That's
kangaroo.
Lassie, you're right.
Yeah. But when I come home from school, I would sit in front of the TV and I would watch Happy Days,
Yep.
Gilligan's Island,
Oh, yeah.
Brady Bunch,
Ugh.
what else? Eight is Enough. And then as I got a bit older, actually my first celebrity sighting was Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains.
Oh, that's my boy Alan Thicke. Alan Thicke, the father.
Yeah, Alan Thicke,
He's a great, great friend of mine.
Oh, really?
One of the greatest guys.
Well, I spotted Kirk Cameron at first family vacation we went on was to
Yeah, he
Europe.
went nuts.
Yes.
He's
Have you seen
not nuts, but he's a super, super hardcore Christian.
Speaking of New Zealanders, have you seen his
Which is
counterpart who does the? He explains, creationism through the banana video. Have you seen that?
No.
Anyone watch the banana video? It's like he explains why the banana was obviously created for the human hand, and how it's perfectly encased and thing. And then as he starts to eat it, he doesn't realize how phallic the whole thing is.
The banana video was plainly created for girls to practice blowjobs on. Plainly, that is my interpretation of the Bible, and it's not any stupider than what anyone else would find in the Bible. So I'm just going to go with that.
But I think all of them for this. My niece is 10. And she can do a flawless American accent, and you listen to young Australian kids playing with each other, and they sound like Valley Girls.
Just naturally, not even trying to do it?
No, they just like effortlessly fall into this sort of play accent that they do, all from television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, I could see how American actors could be pissed at this. I mean, when you go down the list of people who have just succeeded, I mean, even more than the British, really, I would say in this century, certainly. I mean, starting before that, but I don't want to go down the list of names, I'll leave somebody out, but it is an extraordinary success rate. And, I mean, you're obviously having a moment right now, which is great because, I've been watching you for years, always was a fan. Big ones like Black Mass and The Stranger, and I have lots of shit. And you're always in something. You're always good. But it is funny the way careers work because I just feel like you never know what's the thing that's gonna just hit on a certain different level.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Train Dreams. That's the one we're both up for an award. We're both at the Golden Globes.
Thank God we're not in the same category, so we're gonna have a civil conversation. How do you feel? Let me ask you. How do you feel going in? To me, and maybe it's because I've always set my ceiling quite low in life. Like being nominated to me is a win.
Sweetheart, I've been nominated for 33 Emmys, and they would never give it to me. Right. That's not a gag number. It's a real number.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
For Politically Incorrect, for Real Time, for my stand-up specials, for producing, for writing, for performance. Obviously, it's something I said. Well, it's everything I said.
Well, you said enough to get the nomination, but then there's something you've said
because I speak freely, and this woke town fucking hates that, and that's okay. I made my peace with that. But so I know how this goes. This is not something I would ever. I have good standing.
Yeah.
If I win this by some miracle to go, what people always say, I can't believe I'm shocked. I really should be shocked.
Yeah.
If I win this.
But from my seat, the admiration I have for guys like you that actually get up and say what you feel.
There are no other guys like me, Joel.
No.
There are no other guys like me.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I'm a guy that gets a job, gets a script, goes to work. My success is based on other people's ideas and hopefully along the way their wisdom to put me in something or not, and hopefully the right things. You know, actually, one of the other things I have to say I really admired is your whole thing about the casting culture.
Oh, you mean the quotas?
No, actors appropriating and.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Who's appropriate for what? And
the epicenter of woke stupid is this town. It really is, and things like that. I mean, like appropriation. We used to love that. You know, it was called culturally sharing. We thought it was a great idea when we. You know, now obviously, if you steal something, I mean, you know, Elvis, did he steal from black culture? He sang the way he sang. He grew up in the South. I mean, the culture's mixed. You know, it's just pointless to hate him for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, America was more racist, obviously, by far at the time. So it was like, oh, we got a white guy who sounds black. We like black music, but, we don't want to put that on the radio. It'll corrupt the kids, whatever they were thinking in the 1950s. I mean, this is the 1950s.
Yeah.
But, you know, yes, to say that, you know, I mean, they were mad at, who did the movie about Leonard Bernstein with the Junos? They called it
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, yes. I mean, Junos. Do they even know how stupid they sound? I mean, what could be? They actually used that word. They made up this horrible word, and then we're like, oh, but we're the good people. We're saying, whoa, no Junos. You know, it's just so silly. They got mad at somebody for playing Castro, who wasn't Cuban. Sean Penn had the great line. He said, you know, at some point, they're only going to let Danish princes play Hamlet.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was thinking, but to solve your other problem about Australians coming to America, I started wondering if I would ever have gone to drama school now. Because, you know, I went in there with this optimistic point of view that being an actor was, you know, I could try and be anything I wanted to be. Obviously, I would draw the line somewhere, and more now than ever. But, like, am I going to be in a position where you won't have to bother with the Australians here because, like, I'll only get to play, like, mid-level intelligence Australian dudes.
Right. I mean, that is where it was heading. But
yeah,
I think they put the brakes on it a little. I mean, we have had a little bit of a, oh, come on. Yeah. But, I mean, they do. I mean, there is a quota system. Now, I understand why they would have this. Everything that is unjust, and certainly lots of stuff that went on with representation of minorities was unjust in this town for the longest of times.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when Oscar So White had meaning. Not anymore. And they refused to give that up because they love being the people who are the social justice warriors. Okay. But, you know, I understand where this is coming from. But, you know, ultimately, you do not want to tell artists how to make art. This is what they did in the Soviet Union. This is what they did in communist countries. The last place you want people making a lot of rules about how you can make your art, who you can hire to do your art. That is not what art is about. Yeah. And no artist, no matter how liberal, is going to like that.
Yeah.
Auteurs want to auteur.
Yeah. I think, you know, there's certain examples of it where I totally get it. Like, you know, you see a movie called CODA. CODA was, I think it was going back 2 years. Troy won Best Supporting Actor. A film about a girl who's a CODA, who's essentially like a person of hearing who grows up in a family of hearing impaired people. And the entire cast who are playing deaf characters are played by people who really are, you know, hard of hearing. And that, to me, was like, yes, that's exactly the thing that should be done. Because, like,
it makes sense.
Watching someone like me kind of go, I'm going to pretend that I'm that.
It makes sense for that, yeah.
And it's about the cutting off of opportunities for people who are deaf actors who are going, well, where was my audition? You know, where was I even going to get a look into that thing?
The way the arts have progressed is that we have, and I think for the better of enjoying movies, just as a fan, made movies more realistic. I mean, if you look at movies from the 30s, 40s, 50s, I mean, there's Spencer Tracy playing a Mexican, you know? Yeah. They just kind of darken his face and he talks like this. It's like, that's just where they were.
Yeah.
That's where everything was in movies. If I shot you, there was no gore.
Yeah.
You just went down.
Yeah.
You didn't see what we see. Okay, now we're at a realistic phase. If I was the director of this movie, as an artistic decision, I would cast the deaf people.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make I'm
going to make the movie better.
I'm working in yes, we're in the realistic age now.
Yeah.
It's going to make the movie better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a case by case.
Yes, the truth on screen is always better than anything you can make up. It's always much better.
Yeah, I mean, people don't always like the truth, but yes, I think movies, when they're done well, movies that are about something, that are substantive, you know, they get at a truth in a way that doesn't put people off.
Yeah.
You know.
Train Dreams was a good example for me of, like, I guess as I get older, I'm like, all right, well, what's suitable for me to play? Not looking at it from the perspective of the conversation we just had, but like, what do I connect with? You know, and the director of the film didn't realize that I had read the novella like 5 years earlier.
Oh.
I tried to get my hands on the rights to it. And of course, the film deals with one of the worst possible losses you could ever go through, the loss of
trees.
People close to you. Loss of trees. Yeah.
And mostly trees, but then there's the thing with the wife and the kid.
And I'd become a dad since the director reached out to me. And so even though I'm playing a logger, I'm like, you know, trudging around pretending I'm a tougher guy than I really am. On an emotional level, it's wrapped up in my greatest fear. And I was like, well, I realized how much as an actor I've always tried to hide behind funny walks and costumes, as in like really, really like not show any side of who I really am because I feel like that's a little bit dull, and just like be like Black Mass is a good example, you know, playing a crazy like, you know, FBI agent, or playing Buchanan in Gatsby, and they're like energetically, you know, like, because I love character actors. I've always loved character actors. Train Dreams was just a far more personal thing for me.
Again, it's not my field. I love being entertained. And if it's entertaining, I don't care if it's from the method acting or, you know, I love Black Mass. You know, I love the character. I love the whole movie.
Yeah.
So I didn't really care. But then I like Train Dreams too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's obviously, I mean, you are obviously on a deeper emotional level because it's an emotional movie. It's a hard movie to, if somebody says, and you know, whenever you're out to dinner with people, and hey, you've seen any good movies? Yeah. And if somebody says, yeah, I saw blah, 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 and I go, oh, my first question is always, what's that about? Just tell me what it's about. Yeah,
the train pitch, kind of like the being on the bus pitch, the quick pitch. It's not an easy one.
It's not an easy one.
No.
I mean, what would you say? Like a guy 100 years ago has a rough life.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's born nothing special and dies nothing special in this world. and in between...
I'm a studio exec writing the check right now.
In between, he gets glimpses of happiness.
Yeah.
Which then disappear.
Yeah.
But, you know, the reason why it hits such a nerve is that, and here's a deep question, like, it shows that there's a lot of grief, at least in America, and I'm sure in a lot of places in the world. I mean, that's what people connect to. It's like this it's a movie about grief, and people are, you know, why are so many people in this modern world hurting so bad that they relate to this guy who's got a really rough life from 100 years ago?
Yeah.
That's the question.
The answer for me...
A lot of sadness out there.
Yeah. And, you know, here's the one thing that I think sets Train Dreams apart is we go to the movies and we watch stories about extraordinary people, generals, or, you know...
Superheroes.
And talking about Australian movies, interestingly enough, someone pointed out Australian movies which are quite small in their scope quite often, unless you're talking about George Miller or Baz Luhrmann. They say American movies are about people who are going to save the world or save the universe. And Australian movies are about the person who's going to save the local cricket club. And it's true. But you can root for them just the same. And it's a little bit more kind of a smaller bubble.
Much more relatable.
But Train Dreams puts at the center of the movie 99.9% of who the audience is, which is the ordinary human being who's not going to have a plaque, not going to have a monument built about them, and celebrates the majesty of that. Now, what I have noticed too is that young people who haven't experienced, it's not about age, I mean, young people can experience devastating loss. But generally the people who haven't experienced any of the real blows that knock you to your knees in life see the film as quite sad. People who have experienced loss or some kind of grief see the film as quite hopeful, because what it does is also show you the power of rebirth and regrowth. And as Clint, the director...
Like a forest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the analogy is very clear.
Well, it's plain that that's what he was going for, I think. You know.
And the idea of just having to get up some days and put one foot in front of the other, because there is an alternative, which is you tap out of life, or you just find a way to absorb yourself back into the world. And I believe that the world moves and turns and swallows events up, and each day makes it a little bit easier, you know. It's a little bit grim, but there's something beautiful about the resilience of human beings.
Yeah, which we all need, you know. I mean, no one wins the game of life 11-0.
Yeah.
If you win it at all.
Yeah. And there's so much suffering right now. And it's so relative. I have days where I'm like, I crumble about this and that. And then the perspective of life, obviously, I think we all, I don't know about you, but I often find at my own fault and sometimes my own savior, compare myself to other people. I think it's a natural human thing. It's like, I'm okay because, you know, if you compare yourself to people below you in their suffering or whatever, that somehow...
in other words, you're saying to yourself, I don't deserve to feel bad because this guy has it worse than me.
Why am I playing a violin for myself?
That's stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Pain is pain. Yes, we could acknowledge rationally in our rational mind, there are, of course, people doing worse than you. And whoever that guy is, there's somebody doing worse than them.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of shit out there.
And the cruelty of kind of having the Schadenfreude of like looking at people above you like you want to dismantle them or something because they're, for some reason, even though they're disconnected to you, they're the reason for your pain or your suffering.
No, you shouldn't feel guilty about if you have legitimately something to feel bad about, and we all do in this game of life. There's also, I feel, among each succeeding generation, which actually has it easier in most ways, there is a complete lack of perspective about what actually is hurting you and what is actually painful.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is these kids are such pussies. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. And yes, I know, another website ad. Well, stay with me on this one. This one actually makes sense. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for anyone who has an idea, a side hustle, a passion project, or a career that deserves to look professional online. You can claim your domain, build a beautiful site, offer services, get paid, send emails, everything in one place. No tech meltdown required. What I like is the design. Squarespace doesn't just give you templates, it gives you taste. Their new AI-powered builder gets you started fast, then you can tweak it exactly how you want. Clean, sharp, no built-in-the-basement vibes. And if you're offering services, consulting, events, bookings, Squarespace lets you schedule, invoice, and get paid without juggling 5 different platforms. So if you've been putting off building a site, go to squarespace.com/clubrandom for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use code CLUBRANDOM to get 10% off your first website or domain. Squarespace, make something worth looking at. Well, it's a new year with big goals, same problem. No one has time to shop, chop, or cook. That's why Factor works. Factor sends you fully prepared meals designed by dietitians, cooked by actual chefs, and they're ready in about 2 minutes. No prep, no mess, no, is paprika a good replacement for chili powder? No. But what I like about Factor is actually what's not in the food. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils, just real ingredients, lean proteins, colorful vegetables, healthy fats, kind of stuff you're supposed to eat when you're trying to feel good. There's variety too, over 100 rotating meals every week. High protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean, even options built for strength and recovery. We always have a few Factor meals in the studio and they make a great quick lunch for the team. Head to factormeals.com/random50off and use code random50off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. But it's true. I mean, the things that they complain about and think are rough, as they're ordering from Grubhub every day and it's, they have their food brought to them and, remember during COVID, like we're all in it together. No, we're not. Half the people are sitting home in their pajamas during this crisis and having other people bring them the food. But they're just sitting home in their pajamas, day drinking and eating takeout food. Other people, yes, are having it rough, like your character, not quite that much. And that's another thing they lack perspective in knowing is like the advances that we have made in the 100 years since, I mean, when is that? It's right before World War I when the movie starts.
Yeah, early 1900s.
Yeah, early 1900s, right. And we see it up until the space age, which is great.
Yeah.
Because you see the perspective of a character and life it just does get easier. I mean, 100 years ago, a hot shower was a rarity.
Yeah. But, you realize too, so we made the movie, you think it's kind of special, had a special time doing it. It's not until you share it with an audience, start having conversations with people, you realize why it resonates, There's stuff in the film that talks about how fast the world is moving and changing. And of course, we're talking about the 1900s, so what's fast and moving about the world is a man goes to the moon and there's telephones and there's different modes of transport. I remember...
And antibiotics. And toilets.
Yeah.
And socks.
Yeah. There's a thing about a guy, he drops dead, and the narrator in the film says that if he'd have experienced this sort of 5 years or a decade later, they would have caught it because of medical advancement. I, at one point in the film, stare at a chainsaw and don't know how to start it. And it's like me staring at AI, wondering whether it's going to change my industry and how the fuck do I use it? And I remember my grandmother when I first pointed a video camera at her and she froze. And I realized she froze because she thought I was taking a still photo of her.
Oh.
And that was a baffling move of technology for her. And now look where we are. It's fucking crazy.
My dog, I think, used to think it was a gun. No, really, when I would try to take a picture, my first dog, Blackie, loved that dog, but he was definitely, and I think he probably, I got him as a rescue. He may have been in a house.
Someone's going to shoot me at some point.
Yeah, there may have been a gun that went off. He was deathly scared of the...
So where you point a video camera and he tries to get out of the way.
I only have one fleeting picture of him. It's just like him, darting out of frame. He just was very, very scared.
I don't him going like that.
Of the camera. But see, now this, I hope this is not inappropriate, but I did really enjoy this movie, but from my perspective, which I admit is not the normal, never been married, no kids, never liked kids, okay. So who I really felt for was the trees. Because I've always been an environmentalist. I'm a PETA board member for over 30 years. Animals, anything in nature. So, I know people cry at this movie. Where I was tearing up was the thing about these trees are 500 years old. And we're cutting them down. And it does something, that speech that Macy has about, it does something to a man's soul. You think you're just logging.
Hurts a man's soul.
You think
whether he likes it or not.
Right, but you're cutting into this miracle of nature.
Yeah.
Matthew Arnold once said, for people who don't say there are miracles, a tree is a miracle. We're just used to it.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not saying, I'm an atheist. I'm not saying who made the tree. I'm just saying it is a miracle of a sort. And we are just used to it.
Well, the film has a sort of a spiritual kind of resonance with nature that's not religious, you know. And there's the follow-up line of Bill Macy's after that thing about it hurts a man's soul is we are but children pulling bolts out of a Ferris wheel, presuming ourselves to be gods.
That is an amazing line, yeah.
Our relationship with our harvesting of nature. And I have this big thing about, you know, and I could talk about shipping as one of them, the internet is one, nuclear technology is another.
AI.
You know, AI, and now AI. It's
all the electricity it's sucking up all the energy.
Yeah,
AI.
this brilliance of the human mind, or the finite, minimal percentage of us that can create these incredible things. But what we don't know is what happens next. You know, and there's this beautiful naive character, a young logger in the film, is talking about, and he's saying, like, there's so many trees here, we can cut down all of them. By the time we've finished cutting them down, the next one would have grown up as big, as tall as the rest of them.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, yeah, but no.
No, not really. And I mean, if there are trees 500 years old, there are trees that were, I think, something like 2,000 or 3,000 years old, or something crazy like that they do exist. And, you know, thank God we do protect, I think, here in California, some of that. I mean, those sequoias
we got to
are
visit a few of them, but they're in, like, really protected areas.
Yes.
But I do remember, like, before I saw Oppenheimer, learning when I was in school about the moment that Oppenheimer, you know, this obsession with getting a thing done, creating a thing, and then watching it take shape, as in watching the thing explode, and then realizing, what have I done?
It's about the atom bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, mankind, you know, is a destroyer. There's no two ways about it. I'm not saying this with any political dimension. It's just a fact. Homo sapiens are serial killers. I mean, we are not the only human species. There were 6 or 7 human species. Homo sapiens wiped them all out. Then they wiped out Australia, great example. When man
land of serial killers
reached Australia, okay, they came out of, we know they came out of Africa.
Yeah.
They went to the Northern Europe, those mostly the Neanderthals and so forth.
Yeah.
When they got to Australia, fossil record shows there were lots of large species of animals. 1,000 years later, there are none. In 1,000 years, they wiped out all the big game of Australia. That's who Homo sapiens are.
Yeah, we're hungry.
And
we're hungry and we don't care. You know, one of the things I talk about with train dreams is I am constantly reminded of how we forget that we are part of the planet, you know, because, you know, here we are wearing shoes and we have, you know, we create alcohol and technology and everything in between.
Right.
That we forget that we're also just one of the animals on the planet. We take and we take and we take, whatever, for whatever reason. People say it's partly because we have opposable thumbs, but the koala has 2 opposable thumbs, so why isn't the koala running the universe? I don't know.
Brain.
Yeah, the brain, our ability to have language, all the reasons that make us able to communicate, share stories, continue a history, pass on knowledge, and create.
Well, you know why all that happened? Because we discovered fire. Right. And once they had fire, they could cook the food. And once they cooked the food, they killed off most of the bacteria and the parasites. So evolution-wise, we needed a much smaller digestive system, and it went to the brain. We got a bigger brain.
Nice.
And we used it to fuck each other up. But that is why.
A bigger brain that actually, we use, 5% of it or whatever?
Yeah, and that's still way, you know, maybe if we probably would be better if we used a larger percentage.
We wreck everything.
We wreck everything.
For our own pleasure.
I mean, we do great things too. I mean, let's not pretend that we don't love our lives.
No.
And it's not just us, oh, these rich Hollywood, show business type. No, I mean, yes, we have very privileged lives and we do something we love and we're so lucky about that.
Yeah.
But there's been millions and millions of people who are just really enjoying their life because they live in the 21st century and they do have toilets and they do have antibiotics and they do have Starbucks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just life is very convenient. It's
very easy.
In a way it just never was before and very comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, yes, there are people who are suffering and we should do everything we can to help them. But life in general, even in the last 25 years, we have lifted like an astounding percentage of people out of what they used to call extreme poverty, which is, living on $1 a day.
Yeah.
Literally defecating in the street. Used to be a thing 1 billion people around the world did. And now it's just on my block, apparently. No, but we do progress.
But how do you, okay, here's the thing, is, I constantly, when I talk about things, try and remind myself to use first person and kind of go, rather than go, we as people or, we this, we that. It's like, from my perspective, I don't know how it happened and by various set of circumstances and my parents' influence and where I grew up and socioeconomic blah, 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 I landed in a position where I can, for a living, do something that I'm very passionate about. That I wake up most days if I'm going to set and I'm like, I am actually not dragging myself to work with any kind of ambivalence or grumpy kind of attitude.
You have one of the fun jobs.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest things that we can be lucky to get in this life is a career instead of a job. I've had jobs, I know what a job is, and I know what a career is. It's not like you don't work in your career. I work very hard, not here, plainly, but like in my real job, I work. But it's still a career, and it's still it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing that we do. We're fucking in show business.
We're lucky.
There's people who work on an assembly line and they chop the heads off of chickens all day long.
Yeah.
It's like the logging thing. I mean, there's some really soul-killing job. I don't know how people do that work at factory farms where they're just killing creatures all day long.
Yeah.
It just has got to do something to you.
Yeah. I knew a kid, he was one of my friends at school, he's sadly not with us anymore. And he wanted to be a vet. He wanted to be a veterinarian. And so he wanted to work with animals and he was looking for jobs that involved animals. And he got this job in a lab and his job was to inject disease into rabbits. So it was like, in order to get a fast track to the university degree he wanted, he actually do the opposite of what he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's the shit my great people at PETA are always trying to get stopped.
Yeah, fucked up. What was the worst job you ever did before you started clicking your heels in moving in the direction you wanted to?
Well,
did you ever have a shitty job?
I was a guest star on Married with Children. No, I'm kidding. That is a complete joke. I loved being a guest star on Married with Children.
But did you ever have
of course.
What were they?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I was always the kid who had worked after school like that. Like I realized looking back, every kid needs an identity.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm quite athletic, but I didn't really. I was too short to play basketball.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I fucked up that audition when I was a freshman. I could have if I worked at that. I went out for track. I was like, oh, this is boring.
So you had aspirations of being an athlete?
No, it's just like you're looking for an identity in high school. And I still play basketball. I played on the baseball team for a while. There was just too much rules and too much after school. They made it like a living. If you were on the team. It was just too much. I wanted to, I had to get home and do homework and shit. So, and then, could I be an actor? I was too shy for that. I knew I wanted to do a comedy. So I kind of settled in on my identity being the poor kid who works after school. So I always had mowing lawns, raking leaves, shoveling driveways, whatever the season was. I was doing something in the neighborhood to make money. And then I was the delivery boy for the liquor in the drugstore. And, you know, I stocked the A&P. In college, I worked at Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips, this gross, it was a fast food place with fish triangles of God knows what kind of fish product was in that.
They swim around in triangles sometimes. Some of the shapes,
and I had to throw them in this vat of grease, which splashed back up and burned your arms.
Have you got any scars from the time?
I did have to. Yes, I think I do. I have still stories.
See, that's a good reminder.
It is. I am so glad I had my difficult from the time I left high school till the time I moved out here, 10 years. I lived in slums everywhere, and it's so funny when you're a white kid. Middle-class white kid from the suburbs, you just don't think of yourself as poor, or I didn't. And then I look back and I'm like, I was extremely poor. I was living in the shittiest places. I had no money. You know, I was living on shitty food that I didn't want to eat. That was fast food. Like, of course I was poor. It's good. I'm glad.
What's your relationship with money like now? Are you frugal?
I got plenty of it.
I've seen. I've walked around here.
I like it better than having none.
I mean, most people wouldn't even live in a house this big as your, like, what I call your playroom here.
Yeah, my playroom.
But I like. Okay, so my dad was came from very working class background. My grandfather drove trains, and he met his wife, my grandmother. She worked at the kiosk.
Train
They had 5 kids in a 3-bedroom house in Granville, and I think. My whole family, I don't know how long it's going to take. My kids will probably inherit something different, but, you know, to see yourself as blue collar when you start out that way, but my dad became a lawyer. He was going to become a farmer, and he became a lawyer, and then by the time I finished high school, we went from being what I would consider like on the just below the kind of middle class line to being upper middle class.
Wow.
From the age of 0 to 18, that's the trajectory I had. But I had a job as a porter at a hotel, so I'm very generous with my tips at hotels because I'm like, you know.
I love tipping big.
I worked at my first job was wrapping Christmas gifts at a what do you call it, like a department store.
That's gay. That is super gay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying.
And no audition process, as in, like, you can do that job. And it's like the first job I had to do was wrap a lawnmower. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing to me here? Like,
wrap a lawnmower?
Wrap a lawnmower. Well, she's like, I still want it to look like a lawnmower, but I still want it to look wrapped. I'm like, well, I could do that.
Well, I can top that, Joel. When I got out of college, I wanted to move to New York to start my comedy career at the comedy clubs. And I had no money, so there was this thing in the Village Voice, rent-free situations. Now, the first 2 interviews I went on, I realized in my naivete after about an hour that they were old queens who were looking for a young boy to live. Okay, but I finally got one. I lived with, in the maid's room, the ambassador to South Africa, or at the time delegate, because they were thrown out of the UN. And I was the bodyguard for their 3 children. I took them to school. I picked them up.
Did you have a curly ear thing? Did you be like, kids are coming out?
I did not. We didn't. This is 1979. Now, some people have said I was an au pair. I resent that deeply. I was not an au pair, but I kind of was, and I hate kids. So, like, I feel like, to answer your question, the worst job I ever had, it was certainly that. Taking those 3 brats to school every day, picking them up, making sure they were safe. They got right from the bus, you know, right to the door of the school, and then, you know, and I understand why. He was a diplomat. And it was the Upper East Side.
What if there were trouble? What was going to happen?
They weren't trouble. They were just...
No, I mean, if someone tried to attack them...
they would have been fucked.
You would have been like, take them.
Yeah. It's not like I'm Marsh Vega or whatever that Israeli training system is. I had no training. I was this kid right out of college. I don't know why they hired me at all.
There's no question in the early stages like, do you like kids?
No, I think I gave a great interview. I did.
Yeah, I love kids. Love them.
Yes, I definitely lied.
So much.
I told them I was married and that I did have a girlfriend, but she was overseas. I said she was my wife because she at some point did come and visit, and we were in the maid's room. It was about the size of this room that we're in, from here to there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally when the bed was in the wall. When it came out, you only had this much space to walk by. But you know,
so no background checks or anything like that. I don't know.
No. Just exactly.
Like you seem like a good guy.
Just
look after our kids.
Put their trust in this bearded college dude right out of yeah. I never thought of it. You're so right. Like no checks at all.
No, now
and
it's
no
like
skills.
Full background checks.
No skills.
Everything. I've got 4-year-old twins.
Wow.
And we had, by the way, for years I never realised how much of a legend my mum was. How the greatest job and the most dignified job in the world is a mum, like a dedicated mum.
True.
And I treated her terribly, was so misbehaved, and my brother and I, a year and a half apart. I don't know how she did it all by herself. You know, my dad was around, but he was working.
You mean you were a troublemaker kid?
No, it's just like, we would try, like any two boys, like fighting all the time, disobedient. And now I have 2 kids, and I have my mother-in-law live with us.
Oh.
And we have a nanny that helps us with the kids. So my wife and I both have, very busy lives. And when you're suddenly going, I'm going to hand my kids over to people, like my mother-in-law I trust. Like I know where to find her. And she can't run that fast anymore.
Right.
But people you don't know, and you're getting people to care for your kids who you want to vet them, but...
Yeah, I mean, you do know there are people...
You must have just seemed like a nice guy. I was like, yeah, here's my kids.
Oh, unbelievable. It's just so funny how people were just rougher and more quaint back in the... I mean, you're so right. I mean, the crazy levels of what I call, not just I, many people call safety-ism.
Yeah.
The excessive focus on everything. My car drives me fucking nuts. I mean, I'm pulling out to the end of the driveway. I'm looking at the road. If a car goes by before I pull up, beep, beep, yes, I see it. Stevie Wonder isn't driving this car. I'm driving this car.
It steers for you too. Have you noticed that, if you drift in the lane, it actually, starts steering for you?
Well, I don't drift into the lane, Joel. I mean, why are you...
I don't even know why I said that. Yeah.
Why are you drifting into the lane?
This is ever so slightly. Ever so slightly.
Oh, I see. If you just pass over, yeah.
What about Waymos?
Have
you been in one?
There's a great example of rationality brain versus emotional brain.
Right.
Like my rationality side is at the left side or the right side. One side of your brain, is more the right. And I'm glad I have that. And I feel like I'm a balanced person because those two halves are, equally strong.
They're in communication with each other.
They are. I've said this before. Whenever an important decision to make, I think about it sober, then I think about it stoned.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 houses of Congress.
And who wins?
If they agree, then I will pass it into legislation. Then you can send it to my desk and I will sign it. But they have to agree.
And you're like, what is this piece of paper?
And they don't always. And you know who's almost always right?
The stoner.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I swear to God it is. I'll be thinking of something and I'll get stoned and be like, oh, that is stupid. Why am I doing it that way?
See, what is the thing about that? Like the creative mind, the rigidity of the creative mind and stimulants and the possibilities there, and where does it tip into thinking it's a great idea and it being a terrible idea?
Well, I mean,
balance.
Drugs get a bad name only because of the people who do them who fuck up with them. And they give a bad name to people like me and many other people who don't fuck up with them. And obviously some people have much more of an addictive personality.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm lucky about that.
You feel you've got a nice balance and equilibrium of things?
I've been smoking it for 50 years and I've never gotten addicted.
Right.
No. No, but I'm actually not.
Yeah.
Because
you just caught me at a low intelligence point. I was like, that was a joke.
But it actually isn't, because I know the difference between addiction, because I smoked cigarettes for 20 years.
Yeah, me too.
An addiction, and did coke for a couple. An addiction is, didn't you have a coke period?
No.
Never?
No,
Not
something
one?
else, yeah, something else.
Oh, good for you. Something else. What?
No, that's a big dark story.
Oh, come on. What could it be, heroin?
Nah, like something in that world.
Opium?
Yeah.
Opium?
Yeah.
Fuck, wow. You know what? I remember in college.
Short period, but like, yeah.
Where'd you even get it?
Where?
Yeah.
I'll give you his number.
I never, nobody ever.
Deleted the number. Thanks to my old man.
I'm not in the drug world anymore, but when I was, I don't remember anybody ever saying, hey, there's some opium going around.
Yeah.
Would you like some? I did it we tried it in college when we did everything. I never got it.
I'll tell you what I think it is like, as a kid, you go through all these phases. Well, again, I said this before, I'll talk about me. I went through all these phases where I was a good kid, apart from the way I treated my mum. But like, as in behaviorally, like I wasn't interested in alcohol or drugs. And then, you go to college, I'm going to try this drug. And you go, oh, that didn't stick to the wall, And then you try this. It's like, oh, that didn't do anything for me. But, So you get in this pattern of going, just try stuff. And then every now and then, I think with people, they find a drug that goes, hello.
Right. So true.
We belong together.
Yes. You're right.
And
we belong together.
Yeah, we belong together.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a different rhythm for different people, but it doesn't always suit. I have this theory, and for me it was really a really short burst of period, which thankfully, in speaking the love of my parents, my old man knows me too well, and he recognized it, and he was like, what are you doing?
Wow.
And I owe him a lot for that.
And got you off?
Yeah, like big time.
Well, that's a much more serious drug. I mean, I was going to say, it's different than an addiction, because an addiction tells me when to do it. This has never said to me, do me now. I just do it situationally. 3-4 days easily go by when there's no reason to smoke, and I never even think about it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's different, but it is, kind of the love of my life. I mean, we love each other. Sometimes we forget each other's sentences.
You know what I think too is I have this theory that, like, I've a lot of friends who've been through that situation where they hit rock bottom, and I'm sure you know a ton of them too. I mean, you live in LA. But, where you really have to have your most despairing point, and then you realize that you have to turn around. But you're literally at the bottom. I always thought there's wisdom in how do you recognize the bottom is coming and turn around. And I think that a lot of people really have to, like, really hit the bottom hard, like really squish their face on it, and for it to crack a few bones and a few vertebrae before they look up and go, all right, I've got to change things. But how do you make that curve shorter and I see it coming?
I think we're talking about the psychological element. In the physical element, there are designations, I think 4 of them. I won't remember their names exactly, but in a hospital, if you're like serious, chronic.
Oh, the pain?
Well, not pain. This is like the level.
Addiction.
No, the level of how serious your malady is, whatever it is.
Right.
This like chronic, serious, I forget the other designations, doctors, please help me out here.
Yeah.
But, degenerative maybe. It's, and then, Andy Dick. But I'm sure that there's that same thing with the psychological element. Like there is like depression, that's a level. I mean, I've been depressed, but I wasn't depressed because I lack serotonin, I don't think. I was depressed because my life sucked. Okay, that's one level. Yeah. And,
but that's relatable.
Then there's suicidal, where like you get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you can do these also things with behavior, like, are you a functioning alcoholic? There are functioning drug addicts.
Yeah.
And then it has got you fired. That's a level.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're on the street. That's another level.
Yeah.
They're just levels. And at what point do you arrest them? And there are some points, some people, where that point is, yes, just lying on the gutter.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, from my experience, my short-lived experience taught me a lot about empathy, because I was a private school boy, as in, like, you know, where I grew up, ended up at a private school, figured like my life was like fantastic, that anybody I saw on the street, for example, I saw them as like, especially if it came to drugs, I'd be like, oh, you made poor choices. Never really considered it like a deeper combination of things. You know, willpower is obviously a big part of anyone's life in regards to so many things, but there's also like, there's other shit going on, obviously.
There's so many factors,
but
yes.
to not judge people as a combination of just bad choices, but to actually kind of have an open mind to go, you have a story I don't know, but I'm not going to judge you for it.
Yes, I can't get into the head of someone who can't resist something, because I can. You know, I mean, cigarettes was hard, but I did it. That was the hardest one. But like, I easily can, when dessert comes around at the restaurant, like, you sure you don't want a bite? Not even one? Not really. I mean,
I think
do I know it? Would it taste delicious? Yes. Do I care that much? Is it easy for me to say no? And for some people, it is not, for food or for whatever their drug is. It's just not that easy. So I don't. So I don't judge.
I don't think there's a dessert anonymous, is there? I think there actually is. There's actually, like, you know, not to downplay it, but like, I know somebody who's in like eating disorder issues. I had a dream once. I just remember I had a dream once. So Cate Blanchett I worked with on a play called Streetcar named Desire, and we did BAM together.
Another awesome actor from Australia who's taken our jobs, but she certainly deserves it.
Again, not enough sharks. And I don't think she goes in the ocean.
Not enough sharks, but
even if there were.
But I mean, and I give up to so many of them. They are so good.
Man, I mean, she's so good.
Try to be better than Cate Blanchett.
But she's so good. And then while we're doing the play, she would also pull up after some evenings and give a speech, and she would have, like, given an incredible speech about the environment, and we're like, you just did 3 hours on the stage playing Blanche, and then you make this speech. She was running the theatre company. She just seemed like an unflappable, incredible human being with just an aptitude, an ability to do so much.
So she played Blanche to your Stanley Kowalski?
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah.
Where was that?
At BAM, we did the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Oh.
We did Sydney, and then we did the Kennedy Center, which I don't know if we would do now. I don't know that we'd be doing that.
I think you mean the Trump Kennedy Center.
The Trump Kennedy Center.
Okay.
We're gonna
get it right.
We're going to reboot that one.
One call to ICE, and you're gone. You're gone.
2 cast members may not be included. We'll have to get what's his name back, who was back in that 50s movie playing Hispanic. So I had a dream one night about Cate. And don't worry, it's not a saucy dream.
I'm fascinated already.
And it was that Cate was so perfect in my mind. And in my dream, I'm about to go to rehab. And I'm in this room and I'm feeling really shameful. And I'm trying to pretend I'm not there because I think everybody's going to recognize me. And I look up and across the room I see Cate Blanchett. And we're all in a holding room to go to rehab. So I'm like, oh, fuck, Kate's going to rehab. And I go over to Cate and I'm like, Cate, why are you here? Because I think she's perfect. You know? Why are you here? And she goes, food. And I'm like, fuck you.
That's interesting that even in your dream, you're famous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In your dream...
I'm never not famous. No, it's done now.
In your dream, you're worried about getting recognized.
Yeah, I'm like worried about... actually, that's something really interesting.
But you know what? I've had the same feeling in a dream, because what is a dream? It's us processing our fears, right?
Yeah.
And what we're apprehensive about. And that is something we are apprehensive about.
Yeah.
Don't get caught in public doing something weird. even though we're not doing anything weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
speaking about this, like this is alcohol for anyone who doesn't fucking get it.
Yeah. All right, just
taxi.
Fucking.
That's
it's alcohol.
The lamp
Don't
shed.
associate with us breaking the furniture just because we're telling you that we are drinking alcohol. But people who don't drink alcohol sometimes break the furniture.
The one
middle
thing
of
about
conversation.
social media that I love is that it puts the power in the hands of the average individual, the unseen individual. Talking about the ordinary person.
Yeah.
There's good and bad things about that.
Yeah, it would
I
be
can tell
great if the unseen person wasn't usually a fucking idiot. But, okay, I take it. Theoretically, you're right.
But don't trip over on the sidewalk. Don't do something dumb. Don't be mean to people because they'll talk about it.
I mean...
And it's like you should hold those values true regardless of what outside judgment is. But it's a good reminder that, you know, we call it in Australia any tall poppy syndrome. You can be cut down very easily, and like X or Twitter or any of those social media platforms are there to remind you, like,
you have to be anytime.
Stay in your lane and be normal. Like, stay in the human lane.
Anytime you or I or anyone in the public eye just leaves the house, there is potential. Maybe it's a very small percentage of potential, but as opposed to just being home,
they could all come undone.
Anything could happen. Many is the time I've said to and I try to be aware, like, okay, you're stepping out of a limousine, don't show your vagina. I've said that to myself many times. They caught me once or twice, and of course, TMZ runs that one over and over.
Oh, and they rerun it.
Me showing my cooch getting out of the car. But I'm not the only one who's had that happen, where they show their cooch getting out of a car. And, you know, the really classy ones, you know, smart ladies like Beyonce and Taylor Swift, you never see Zendaya, you never see anything bad.
No.
Because they're smart, they're classy, they know that they're always trying to get you at something.
Yeah.
So they're just always on point when they're out.
Do you believe that, I mean, the old days, pre all this stuff, no one knew much about actors, musicians, comedians, like, you know.
Of course, that's a fact.
Yeah, and it was mysterious.
Well,
now it's the opposite.
Okay,
right?
well, we have, I mean, we've passed the age of tabloids to obviously the age of not just TMZ,
but self-promotion.
Which I happen to love and get my news from.
What TMZ?
I love TMZ. I love Harvey. I love the show.
I gave a very boring interview to TMZ the other day, very sanitized. They won't run it.
Well, when you're on TMZ, you want to be boring.
Yeah,
you don't want to be the thing that's interesting.
Yes.
You just want to be on there because you're Joel and you're fan. I saw it. You're signing autographs outside of
Kimmel.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, very boring, very pleasant, very polite. I was like,
great.
This is a way not to be seen.
Your publicist is thrilled that it was not interesting. You don't need interesting, especially right now when you're at this moment where you're definitely going to get an Oscar nomination. You might win it. You're right at that age where they want to give it to the guy, you know, and it's the woke people will love it because it's about grief. I'm telling you, it's all lining up in your favor, Joel. I'm telling you, you put in the time, you put in all this good work.
Yeah.
It's like we give him his Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, so don't fuck it up now.
All right, I won't.
We're not fucking it up here, by the way.
Right. Good. We could.
Yeah, we could, but we're not. Because we're just real.
Yeah.
And we're not bad people. So as long as not bad people are being real, there actually is nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Honestly, there is. I mean, when I walk out of a limo, I'm not going to do something stupid. Because I'm not stupid.
No.
And yet there's still that idea.
You've got a very nice-looking vagina. Apparently. I watched your TMZ interview
We're even
too.
saying vagina. We're completely politically correct here. Anyway, what's your next role? Let's pretend this is a real interview.
My life is completely free for now. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to change.
I'm writing. I write and I make stuff. My life has completely changed since I had two little people that you would hate. 2 children.
How old are they? 4?
And I'm not leaving them in your care.
You say
they're 4.
Definitely not. Even though I have the credentials.
I'll give you a little earpiece.
I have references from South Africa. I'm telling you. Hey, you know what? I didn't have any references. I didn't have any skills.
You know what's
I
weird?
didn't fuck it up.
No,
those kids are fine.
Yeah.
There was never any trouble.
No.
And I was always on time. I got them to their school. I got them back. I took them to their stupid activities. And I was supposed to teach them French also. That kind of fell by the wayside.
No.
Well, I kind of lied about that too.
Tu parles français?
Like I would speak them French to them. Like they would learn French with their new bodyguard / au pair.
Did you speak French?
Bonjour. I mean, I took French my whole time. They started us on...
Moi aussi.
Je
parle un peu français.
No.
Yeah.
They started us in 3rd grade, and I was still taking it my freshman year at Cornell, and I still couldn't get it. There are some things you just can't do.
Yeah.
And for me, learning a language, thinking in the other language instead of always thinking in English, having to translate, you can't do it that way.
Okay.
Some people hear a foreign language and they pick it up, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
At the normal rate people speak, could I ever understand French? No.
No. My kids speak Spanish, like fluent Spanish, and they're 4. My mother-in-law is Filipino Spanish.
Because they're being raised by the nanny.
Yeah, but my mother-in-law speaks Tagalog, Spanish, and English.
Oh, I see.
She speaks only Spanish to them.
Well, that's the time to get it in their head. Because when they're kids, it's easy.
And it's beautiful to hear them speak Spanish.
So they're bilingual already.
Yeah, and
That's
I
great.
feel ashamed that my promise to myself when they started was I'm going to stay up with them, and I had Duolingo. Have you ever done Duolingo at all?
Please, don't be ashamed. But
Duolingo has this sort of guilt aspect to it where you do a course and like every day you do like a few lessons. And
Not guilt, Joel. Please.
I'm riddled with guilt. I was raised Catholic.
What are you, Jewish? Don't be.
No, Catholic.
I was too. Yeah, Catholics have a lot of guilt.
I did my Holy Communion when I was 10.
So did I. 7 when I did it.
And I'm
10?
like...
They raised the age?
I was around 10. My parents were 34, 35 at the time that I did my communion, and we had this long house. Speaking of which, like, you know, when you say, like, you thought you were a king as a kid, like, you were rich, and my brother and I went out recently to try and look at the house that we grew up in that was up for sale. And in my mind, it was a palace. It was fucking huge.
Everybody said that.
And then we went there, and it felt tiny.
Because you were 2 feet tall. Everyone says the same thing.
And I was like, all right, well, we don't necessarily want to buy it, but it was lovely to go there. But it was reminding me of all these things. There was a little church down the road we used to go, and so I did the communion. Because of the insistence of my grandparents, my parents wanted to please them. My parents weren't really super religious. So it's like, why load me up with all this guilt? Anyway, I realized that every Sunday my brother and I would run down, like we were like Ned Flanders kids, like, let's go to church. And they were like, not today. And of course, church is on a Sunday, and what happens on a Saturday night is my parents would be out dragging us young kids along drunk. I'm 51, I've got 2 4-year-olds. I still take my kids out and do all that stuff, but they were 35-year-old kids. I call them kids. Anyone younger than me is a kid. 35-year-old people with 2 young kids hung over on a Sunday going, I want to fucking go to church. And it raised my level of, I'm like, God is going to fucking punish me.
Me too.
He's going to punish me. And each week went by, I was like, I can't go now. Because when I go, the punishment's going to be worse.
No, I mean, Catholic upbringing traumatized me. You know, we were talking before about getting from Train Dreams about like how hard life is. Compared to 100 years ago, my life has been a dream. And I was very fortunate. I had a very Leave It to Beaver upbringing.
All right.
Did that show?
Were you Eddie Haskell?
You know the show.
Yeah.
That played in Australia?
Yeah. Okay. That was one of the ones.
Because that's really old. That's from the 50s, black and white.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, and Mr. Ed?
Mr. Ed.
The famous Mr. Ed.
The talking.
I could sing all the jingles.
The talking
badly.
horse. Green Acres.
Yeah, Green Acres. What else?
Well, let's hear it. You said you could sing all the jingles.
But
Green Acres is the place to be. No, you don't remember that?
No, I got it. You've caught me on the lie. I don't know that one.
Life for me.
But, you know, I mean, okay, so sorry, I interrupted you. Eddie, I called you Eddie Haskell, which is an insult.
It's a funny insult.
Because he's the naughty neighbour, right?
He was
the irascible neighbour.
It's funny because...
So that's suitable.
Yes, Beaver is Beaver. He's the
good freckled kid.
Yes, he's the typical 50s kid. I mean, this is the completely white world of the 50s.
Yes.
I mean, you could not find a person of color within 100 yards of this set. I mean, that's just where we were in the 50s.
Yes.
We don't think it's good, but like talking about your thing with guilt before.
Yeah.
There's too much guilt. There's no reason for you to feel. I'm sure you're like a better parent to your kids than like everybody was in my era, as far as like how much time you spend with them. I mean, my parents in that generation, they didn't feel any obligation.
Yeah.
It's like, we brought you into this world, you have a roof, you have clothes, you have food, and you have your own life. And we were better. I had such a free-range childhood of doing whatever the fuck I wanted. Just be home by 6.
I remember
that's when dinner is.
My dad, I think the story goes that he broke his arm jumping over the fence trying to get there on time for my brother's birth. And he said his job as a groom when you get married was just to show up. Like, no planning, none of this. Like, Christine and I got married at City Hall. We just did, like, the kids, us. We didn't want to, like, bother with all the stress of, like, you know, napkins and who do we invite and all that shit.
Well, then you got a really cool bride.
She's amazing. My wife is incredible.
Because not a lot of chicks go for that.
She is the best. I'm like, punching above my weight.
A lot of women really think that the wedding day is the greatest day of their life, and like, that just has to happen perfectly.
But it should be for you.
It should be, yes.
And maybe because she's in the world of, like, she runs a magazine. She's the chief editor of Australian Vogue.
Oh, really?
She deals with a lot of people. I deal with a lot of people where, like, you know, there's a lot of people watching us. Maybe being in a wedding is nice just to be not watched and not about...
Absolutely.
My brother got married and I remember somebody, like, wrote to him, was like, why aren't I on the invite list? It's like, fucking hell, like, you're going to, like, give him grief about...
No, it's... Yeah.
But guilt is huge, dude, in my life. Like, every day I'm like, am I a good parent? Am I not a good parent? I remember this, and shout out to my parents who are just fucking divine. But I remember I was with my mum and my dad, and my mum knows that I have these big chunks where I'm working and these big chunks where I get to spend time with my kids. And my mum was like, see, said to my dad at one point, see, this is something you didn't get. And I remember thinking, that's not what he needs to hear, because, like, he's very special to me. And I kind of know more than ever now why there were certain times I didn't get to see him. But so I think a lot about that when I'm a parent going,
You're like the logger guy.
Kids don't understand money.
The logger guy.
The logger guy.
He goes away for a couple of months at a time, which is shit.
Yeah.
And acting isn't shit, but I'm sure you miss your family.
Yeah, yeah.
And then...
Come back with a roll of cash.
You come back with a roll of cash, and you have, like, oodles of time at home, uninterrupted, which most people in their 9-to-5 kind of 50 weeks a year job don't have at all.
And then the wife's
so
like,
it's just...
aren't you going to log... Isn't there some logging to be done? Like...
Right.
But we,
So it's just different, and I mean, I just see so many parents fucking up their lives and their kids' lives because they're too much in their kids' lives, which fucks up their lives.
Yeah.
And they're really fucking it up on both ends. Kids don't need to be supervised to that degree, and it fucks up your life. You need to have a life too. So if your life is... I just watched Jay Kelly. Did you see that? I mean, so many movies I've seen, he feels very bad about his kids who don't like him because he wasn't there. You know what? Daddy was a movie star. I'm sorry he wasn't there all the time.
Yeah.
My father worked nights. I never saw him during the week either.
Yeah.
It didn't fuck me up. So what?
Sorry,
you know what?
I think it did, Bill. No, I think it might have. You know, like, but also, like, you could. I mean, there were so many examples of people who have mistreated their children, and they've gone on to, like, you know,
exactly,
and people who were the best parents in the world, and the kids, you know, did awful things.
Exactly, and you know, life is this very complicated mixture of advantages and disadvantages. There's privilege and there's pretty privilege. And, you know, I could name a million privileges. You know, you just either make the best of it or you don't. And as some wise person once said, if you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one.
And don't we all filter everything through our own ego? It's like everything that happens around us and near us and adjacent to us or whatever, we're like, it's got something to do with me, when it really doesn't all the time.
I mean, Joel, this is the wrong town to start throwing accusations about narcissism. And not to shit on Jake Kelly, which I did enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoy George Clooney in anything. I enjoy Adam Sandler.
I've worked with George.
But it is George Clooney in a...
He directed me in Boys in the Boat.
Ah, Boys in the Boat.
Gorgeous George.
Right. I always think of the clitoris when I hear the name of that movie, but it is a good movie. Okay, but like, and I enjoyed the movie, but like yet another movie about the business itself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot.
Yeah.
About, I mean, the navel-gazing in this town is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a bad movie or uninteresting or unfeeling. I enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays basically himself, this movie star, so it's a smart idea for a movie. But, you know, I mean, I don't feel bad for the character. I don't feel bad for his kids who you know, just, Dad, you weren't there. Yes, because he was making a classic, you fucking brat.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And you're having an argument around a really nice swimming pool.
Exactly.
But it's a great movie. I mean,
and then he came home and gave you a great life, which, you know, Dad could have worked for the electric company, okay? Get the fuck over yourself.
Yeah.
Your dad's a movie star, and, you know, okay, so, like, that's who he is. We can't change who we are.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so much, like, of this shaming. A lot of it, you know, people wonder why so many young men vote for Trump. Well, maybe because, you know, he's one guy who doesn't make you feel guilty just for being born with a dick. You know? It's true. It's a lot of his appeal. They make you feel, you know, a lot of, not me, I'm old enough to remember when it was the reverse, so I get the backlash.
What it was like to be born without a dick.
But if you're, no, that I don't remember. But if you're 22 years old, if you're 22, you don't remember a time when it was the reverse. So you've only seen the backlash. You've only seen white men bad.
Yeah. Well, you know, I remember when he first got voted in, and the realization of the sort of lack of awareness of the way dudes felt in the world. And I was like, you know, the whole seat at the table thing, and it's like the presumption of position in the world. And friends of mine in Australia are talking about this whole thing about going, you know, like, work hard for what you fucking get. Be good at what you do to prove that you deserve the seat at the table. But the anger of, you know, that sort of phase, I think we're talking about the same thing anyway.
Yes,
I'm a bit muddled, but like, you go, you know, I'm all for inclusivity, and then you speak to the same person like a few months later and like, I'm fucking terrified. And it's like, why don't you just be fucking good at what you do? And if you're an artist, paint the right pictures, tell the right stories, make the best music, like, do the best you can do and prove that the seat you were sitting on, you can still sit on.
I mean, in this country, because we have such a horrible, sorry history, levels of reparation are, to my view, completely appropriate.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you also have to acknowledge things have changed enormously in this century, and that ultimately merit, you know, is something that we're going to have to reinstate to where it formerly was. It's important, and it kind of got bypassed. And the people it's supposed to help by forgetting about it are often not helped by it.
Yes.
Well,
the pendulum swings in certain ways too, and I do believe that, sometimes like with the casting conversation too,
yes.
It's like something the pendulum swings so far, you're like, now should I be nervous about this? It's like, the pendulum like shifts and changes, but in terms of merit, like merit is just a thing, and it's like, I mean, I don't know how you solve that problem, especially two white dudes sitting on a couple of armchairs talking about it.
Okay, but we're, again, that's the guilt thing that I'm not going to buy into. We're
right.
white. Just because we're white dudes doesn't mean we can't have opinions.
No.
Or that we can't have this discussion. I mean, apropos of that discussion about appropriation, I remember John Leguizamo was sitting here. I love John. I think he's an enormous talent. But I did point out to him that he was very angry when James Franco was going to play Castro. But he himself played characters. He played Luigi. He's not Italian.
Yeah.
He played, or Mario, or whatever it was. He played like Toulouse-Lautrec.
Yeah.
He's not French.
Yes.
Like that to me is very hypocritical and typical of the far left woke.
Yeah.
That they don't see it when it's always okay when I'm making fun of it, but I can do it.
Yeah.
And don't be ridiculous, because you yourself have played these parts that are not you.
Yeah.
And that's why we call it acting.
Yeah.
It's acting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was the Pharaoh of Egypt.
Yeah. In what?
In Ridley Scott's Exodus. I mean, and it's a really interesting,
Ridley Scott's Exodus.
I'm out of vodka.
You want more?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
But the
that's what they all say.
But it is an interesting conversation, because the I wouldn't take the experience away in the world, partly because of what it taught me. Love Ridley, like fucking one of my favorite people in the world.
What a filmmaker.
Yeah, and
film.
to speak to him on the phone and kind of, he's like, come, Anyway, I did the movie. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, well, what does doing that movie take away from someone else? And I wasn't even that famous a dude. It's not like, the short version of that is, and when we talked about it earlier, is just really about on one hand, it's like what suits you as a character is one thing. What you are taking away from somebody else is another thing. And it's like, there's a financial aspect that everyone can lean on and say, the movie will only get made if it's but as CODA proved, the success of that movie was the authenticity of the movie,
We are pretty much past the age when it's about who's in the movie.
Yeah.
It's mostly about the movie.
Who are movie stars anymore?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's Tom Cruise, okay.
Yeah.
But even Tom Cruise, if the movie was shit, I don't think it would do well.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to come out to see a 65-year-old Scientologist in a shitty movie. They will come out to see that in Maverick, which was entertaining in a popcorn way. And, I'm a huge fan of Tom Cruise.
Me too.
He's obviously got a little wire loose there in the head. That's fine. But what a movie star, what a filmmaker.
Beautiful. Legend, dude.
Legend. And entertained me a million times, which I'm always grateful for.
Yeah.
I just want to be entertained. Here I am now.
I want to be entertained. I also think that there are countless examples of movies that have movie stars front and center, that if the story isn't good,
of course,
they don't make money. And then countless examples of movies that star people that aren't that famous, that if they're really good.
I mean, honestly, they could have done Train Dreams with Leonardo DiCaprio.
They did. He was terrible. They had to reshoot it with me. They tried it with Timmy. Terrible.
No,
they
he's too
reshot it
young
with me.
for it. But you're the same age as Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and we're very good friends. We did Gatsby together. We're very good friends, and I'm so happy.
Okay, I'm
for
just
him
saying
constantly.
It wouldn't have worked the same way. He's just too pretty.
What are you saying about me?
Well, you're fine. You're a nice-looking guy.
I'm down the middle.
But we can believe you living in the cabin.
This is something, though. I do think that at some point...
And Revenant was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Revenant's amazing.
Where he does play a guy from a million years ago, but it's it's different. He's eating a fish raw right out of the river. You know, it's just not the person we can relate to.
Yeah.
Who could bite into a fish right out of the river?
I mean, I could. They're just too slippery, you know. Couldn't get a hold. Couldn't get a perch.
But no, I mean,
but it's a good question. Is like at some point,
and he's too movie starry.
Well,
he's already a movie. We just see him as a movie star.
Imagine you went to Sundance and saw like a $3 million movie starring Tom Cruise. It just somehow the metrics don't compute.
It doesn't.
But mind you, that would maybe be one of the most radical moves you could pull. But there are certain things. I mean, back in the day, I think the studios told you who the movie stars were.
Right.
Pre-social media, definitely the news outlets, and there was like, all right, these are your movie stars. Now it's in the hands of everyone on, social media.
Well, I mean,
who's hot, who's not.
I mean, Train Dreams got crazy numbers on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And Rotten Tomatoes is the popular
95%.
Vox Populus.
I think if my mum knew how to write a review on there, 96%. I actually just...
I mean, that's a crazy number for anything, but especially when it comes from the viewers. You know?
And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful film. It's very un-Australian to cycle back to almost the very beginning of our conversation. One thing is Australians that is we like to be complimented by other people. We're not good at complimenting ourselves. And when people compliment us, we often stare at our shoes, which are generally flip-flops. But
so you see yourself as modest.
I do. I actually, but at the same time,
How egocentric of you.
Huh? How we go? Yeah. Yeah. But like, it is comfortable for me to say that I love this movie. I'm so glad that I'm in it. And I know, and I've said this to numerous people, that I'll look back on my life whenever it's getting close to its end, which is kind of suitable for the film itself. And go, it's one of my favorite experiences ever.
It's not just a terrific movie and has touched so many people in a way very few movies do, but it is a defining watershed in your career. That I would guess I've been an observer of show business for a long time.
Yeah.
You just see like Matthew McConaughey, for example, did where he was the AIDS dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
AIDS, automatic Oscar. Okay.
The reconnaissance.
Not that he wasn't great.
The reconnaissance.
But they also vote on, it's not quite an exact science giving out awards, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So it has to be sort of the right thing that the voters think makes them feel like the good people.
Yeah.
And this one it just walks that line perfectly. It is actually a good movie. It also is going to attract those people who want to vote for the right movie.
Yeah.
I mean, after 12 Years a Slave won, which I'm sure is a great movie, but some of the people who have voted for it on the panel admitted, we didn't see it. We just voted for it.
No.
We knew it was the right thing to do. So, but this all aligns up because you deserve an Oscar. And after that, even if you don't get the Oscar, even if you get just nomination, which you definitely will, then your career, for whatever reason, look, I'm the last guy to think that awards should mean anything because it's really just an opinion, and it bugs me that people talk about it as if they, like I always say, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they won it. If you win an Oscar, it's just someone's opinion.
Yes.
You didn't actually win anything. It's someone's opinion.
Yeah. We'll change our opinion if we win at the Golden Globes, by the way.
Right, exactly.
No, that was the right opinion.
If I win, I have a whole different take on it. But I do think you're at this other level. And it's a perfect time because I always think that actors over 50 are just working on a different level. It's just one of those 10,000 hours thing.
It's the rings of the tree.
It really is. They're just on a level of that famous story when Jack Lemmon said to the director, what do you want me to do? Not act? Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't see the acting at all. And, you see it in younger people. And it doesn't mean they're not good.
Yeah.
But you just see this different level. So I just imagine for the next decade, you're going to get some amazing scripts.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I feel that way with, I used to, when I went to drama school and I was a very sanitized young man and everyone was like, like to be a great actor, you have to be through some kind of suffering. And I'm like, wow, so I had a pretty cruisy upbringing. Like, it's going to make me a shit actor. And then, as I get older, I realize it's not about suffering and trauma and all that stuff. It's just the experience of life can give you the understanding of some things, the empathy towards other things, the appreciation of life, the patience to observe and look into things without being too self-obsessed, that you can be open to slip into the skin of other people if that's what your job is. And so it's not really about, like, I need to have been through hell and locked in a basement and beaten by my parents to become a good actor.
I also think people should know, and I can say this from experience, because in the 80s, when I was first out here, I made my living doing silly movies and, TV shows. And to spend all day in makeup, like mostly just wasting time in your trailer, just sitting around, and then there's a lot of stress on a movie set. It's not like and you're away from home, and very, very often you're doing things you don't want to do. I remember like getting very sick once because we were shooting in the Bronson caves. You ever shoot there? They used it for every cave and ever seen in a movie. And I'm lying on the ground after this supposed explosion in the movie, and there's all this smoke that I was breathing in for 2 days. There's a lot of shit. It's great to be a movie star. It also is, it's not like there's no work involved.
No.
Or nothing that like every day is just tits and champagne.
No.
It is not. Anyway.
It's like, I feel like being an actor is like 5 minutes of a day.
Right.
Good and bad will remind me why it's excellent to be an actor. And when I say good and bad, it's like, the good thing is like, yes, I'm doing the right thing.
Sometimes you're working only 5 minutes of the day.
Yeah, and if you didn't give me that 5 minutes that reminded me, I'd probably go, I'm finally going to go do something else.
Yeah, John Cleese once said, making a movie is like spending 8 weeks waiting in an airport. Anyway, I can't thank you enough for doing my little ridiculous show.
I can't believe I'm even here. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
You too. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I wish you luck on Sunday.
Thank you. You too.
Since your interests don't conflict with mine, good luck with your business.
I'm going to pat a cat in that. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Club Random.
You've been at the Golden Globes 100 times?
No, never. They never even had my category before.
Club Random.